Understand that? Knowledge comes from learning. Wisdom comes from living. About some God called Yahweh coming down, the Stoics told you that this is where the Jews got the story from. Because in 100 BC, a guy called Dionysus changed what was called mimesis in that book. I don't even think he stated that in that book. But he changed that was what was called mimesis and started what we call today plagiarizing. Let's go. Dionysus' concept marked a significant depart from the concept of mimesis formulated by Aristotle in the 4th century BCE, which was only concerned with imitations of nature instead of the imitation of an author or another author. That's the difference. Yeah? Latin orientators and rhetoricians adapted the literary method of Dionysus and disregarded Aristotle and mimesis. When was that? 1st century BC. So from then on, Plato, Aristotle and them, they dropped that system and they started imitating. He was responsible for that. This guy, and this guy, what they don't tell you, this guy is who Josephus, it was his idol.
Oh, okay.
You just have to follow the money. This was his idol, but he was the one who started throwing away what was once known to start just adapting other authors' work.
Is that Josephus Flavius?
Sorry?
Is that Josephus Flavius at all?
Well, he changed it, but Josephus saw him as one of his favourite authors. And then when this became the way, then why wouldn't the Jews write about their history? Because he was just basically lifting somebody else's work. You understand? But we see Odysseus. Who's washing his feet? Didn't a woman come and watch Jesus' feet?
That's right, yeah.
What was her name?
Mary Magdalene.
Huh?
Was it Mary Magdalene? What's it? Jesus' girlfriend, man. Mary Magdalene.
Magdalene.
Yeah, Magdalene.
Is that her name?
Yeah.
Prostitute.
Yeah.
Is that her name? Sure?
Hmm?
Is that her name?
The prostitute, Mary Magdalene.
Yeah. Is that who washed Jesus' feet?
Yeah.
Is that her though?
With her hair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
That's the one that washed his hair.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll bet any one of you £10 and you can have this watch. If you tell me her name.
That case, anything shit.
All I said was a free Mary.
But yet still, if you read the Bible, it said this woman would be famous. What does a famous... Do you know Kim Kardashian?
Yeah.
We all know Kim Kardashian. Let's name another famous person. Look away. So why aren't you telling me who this woman's name is? If she was supposed to be made famous for washing Jesus' feet. You see, in your head, I knew you would say Mary Magdalene.
Because we've been talking about
But the Bible doesn't say that.
Yeah.
That's the difference. But you see the images, and people say Mary Magdalene. But the Bible doesn't say it was Mary Magdalene. It just said this woman. But because she done this thing, she should have worldwide fame. But how can you have worldwide fame
No one don't know who you are.
when nobody knows who you are? My
So
mom's doing plagiarizing. Because this is Odysseus. And who was washing his feet? The woman who came, when Odysseus came back, the nursemaid washed his feet because Odysseus' son brought him in. And he was disguised as an old man. Nobody recognized him.
That was so the suitors could not kill him.
That's
before
correct.
They could throw the axe from
That's
the...
correct.
Yes.
But when the Romans came looking for Jesus, did they know who he was? He was in disguise. When he was so-called resurrected, did they know who he was? They thought he was a gardener. Correct? Because these are the implications of the story. I'm trying to better a
The
story.
last one.
Do you understand?
Mm.
So you can't see the significance of it because you don't know Odysseus' story.
Mm.
You understand?
Yeah.
But Odysseus' nursemaid noticed that there was a cut on his foot. And she went, and what did Odysseus say? He went, shh, don't tell anyone. Wasn't Jesus always telling people not to tell anyone? Go and don't say nothing to no one.
Mm.
So he said to her, don't say no one, because he couldn't just take back his kingdom because of the suitors. Correct? Okay. What was her name?
Jacked up there.
Euryclea. What does it mean? We'll find out.
Is that like saying Eureka? Like we use it with the term nowadays.
Yeah. Because if you find out where the word comes out, it will always change the Greek origin or Latin. Or there is no real Latin, really. You understand? We just say
The
it.
idea.
But when we go at the Centre for Hellenistic Studies, Harvard University, Euryclea, it states, a great post by Lord Ford. Continuing our look at the etymology of proper names, it is interesting that the two women who jointly raised Odysseus have very similar names. Euryclea means, what does it mean?
Broad fame.
What?
Broad fame.
You get the point?
Yeah, broad fame. I can see it two ways. It could be broad as in the female fame, or broad as in wide.
The broad.
But I think what
Broad fame as in
it's saying as in,
wide.
as in what he said, that you'll be
Famous.
famous in a big way.
Broad fame. And then the other wife, who looked after him, she means opposing fame. Do their names constitute a clue concerning their respective attitude towards Odysseus? Remember, there was two Marys, right? She had a sister, Martha. When Mary was attending to Jesus, Martha was upset. She opposed it.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay. Concerning their respective attitude towards Odysseus, quest for Kilos by joining the expedition to Troy. Euryclea was Odysseus' wet nurse and the one who would have a primary role in raising him, and later Telemachus. The closeness of their relationships is emphasized in the scene where she recognized and disguised the hero from the scar on his legs. She obeyed his instruction even at the price of temporarily deceiving her mistress Penelope, because he went to her saying nothing to no one. Just like when Jesus supposedly healed the blind man's eyes, what did he say? Go and tell no one. He was always saying that. Go, tell no one. Because now we're mimicking the story of Odysseus. Okay. Again, Luke 7:36-50. One of the Pharisees asked Jesus to eat with him. So Jesus went into the Pharisee's house and sat at the table. A sinful woman in the town learned that Jesus was eating at the Pharisee's house. So she bought an alabaster jar of perfume and stood behind Jesus at his feet, crying. She began to wash his feet with her tears, and she dried them with her hair, kissing them many times and rubbing them with perfume. When the Pharisees asked Jesus to come to his house, saw this, he thought to himself, if Jesus was a prophet, he would know that this woman touching him is a sinner. That's why I just bet you my watch, because they didn't name the woman. Now you can speculate
It just leaves it open.
what woman it was,
over time.
but we don't know who she is. Famous. How can you be famous if I don't know who you are? Do you understand that? Verily I say unto you, whosoever this gospel shall be preached throughout the whole world, this also that she hath done shall be spoken of for a memorial of her. You hear that? Memorial means everybody's going to know the shit that you've done. But nobody, I just asked you, do you know her name? Nobody knows her. So was they lying? Memorial. Something designed to preserve the memory of a person, event, etc. as a monument or a holiday. Objective. Preserving the memory of a person or a thing, commemorating memorial services. This is what this is supposed to mean. Memorial. So therefore, We should be speaking of her as in our memory, but we don't know her name because none of the authors wrote her name down. So how can we remember her? Synopsis, yeah? The Republic is structured as a fictional dialogue between Socrates and Glaucon, two Greek thinkers. The allegory of the cave becomes a seminal piece of work when Socrates asks Glaucon to imagine a scenario in which people actually live their lives entirely. Glaucon to imagine a scenario in which people actually live their entire lives in a dark world where shadows and light refractions from fires behind them are the only constants. The people are chained up, Socrates says, but because this is the life they have always known, they do not understand to appreciate the limitations they face.
That just sounds like how we are now.
A quick synopsis.
Okay.
This is where the prisoners are looking on a show.
Yeah.
But they don't know anything else apart from this. That's how they've been born.
Yeah.
Yeah? And then, therefore, you can see the magicians here holding up the images on the wall for them, and the fire provides the light. Correct? So I'm giving you a quick look at how it is, and this is a shadow cast on the wall. Now these prisoners watching the show, they don't know nothing else. They've been there since they're born. They're not allowed to turn around, and they're trained up just to look on the wall.
Yeah.
But one of the prisoners got free from the cave. He ascended, and he came out to the real world. Now I'll stop here. So from here, we're going to go into the story. How's my credit? What do you mean by that? How is your credit? With who? But we say these things because it's normal. But you have to take yourself out of the paradigm and look for them what they are.
It's true, isn't it?
It's like mortgages, isn't it? When they loan you money from
The
mortgage.
same with the mortgage.
You've never seen the money,
Yeah.
But you've got a house.
you've got to work hard to pay them back though.
That's right.
Yeah.
But let me go and get a mortgage. And they go, we've approved the mortgage for you for 400,000. I'm like, excellent. Give me the 400,000 cash. It's a problem.
Yeah.
Because they don't have it. But they'll give you the house because everything works on credit. But when you are paying them back, you're paying them back from your blood and your sweat. And live cash. Cash that they've never given you. And to even take the piss even further, they've charged you interest on it.